What's up, guys? Welcome back to another awesome episode of the Gruesome Garage. And today, you're finally going to hear this thing run. Now, when we left off, as you remember, wiring was a little messier. I cleaned it up a bunch. Got to put this back on here. I just had it disconnected just so I was working on it. But I got it cleaned up a bunch. The only real ugly thing is my clutch line I got to deal with. And some of this disgusting Renix stuff over here. But other than that, I'm really happy with how it's coming so far. Figured out why it wasn't starting. Like I said last time when we ended off the video, we tried to use the starter and it just engaged, but it wasn't engaged onto the flywheel. Sadly, I figured out the problem and it wasn't fun. Had to pull the motor out because with a 4.8 out of a Chevy 2500 Express, like the vans, they come with a 4L80, not a 4L60. So it's a different mounting arrangement where the flex plate and the torque converter is. So there's actually a crank spacer on the back of the crankshaft on a 4.8. So I had no idea. I just put the clutch and everything together. It fit great and everything, but the starter didn't work. So I noticed that, guess what? Something was off, at least, you know, half inch or, you know, 3/8 of an inch, quarter inch. So I pulled it apart, took this out, and guess what? Now it cranks. So if we got Matt over here helping us, Gruesome Matt, he's gonna start this beast up for us. You like Cherokees, I like Cherokees. You guys should subscribe to the channel. All we do is Cherokees here. There's a little custom of a Cherokee. We got a little less custom outside. But guess what? We do Cherokees, and we notice that most of our viewers are not subscribed. So I'm gonna say it again. If you like Cherokees, just subscribe. So as you see, she runs. She doesn't run the greatest right now. I haven't really gone through, you know, the whole learning process with the Holly yet, but it's running pretty decent. And also, it doesn't help that, you know, we're open headers right now, and you know, apparently these Holly systems like a little back pressure, a full exhaust system. So we'll throw that on there. But as of now, we're gonna start focusing on the cooling system because I want to put the belt on here. And I really don't want to throw the belt on here yet until everything is ready to go. We have the alternator ready to go with our switch power and our power to the battery to charge the batteries. I got the power steering lines. I figured out that I could use Cherokee power steering lines. And there's a brand new return to the reservoir. And the only thing I had to do was shorten it. Now the pressure side, that was a little tricky. I had to play games, but I bent it and it came around here. And we're around everything hot, and it goes into the pressure side. I'm hoping that this F-body pump puts out a decent amount of pressure and is gonna be happy. If not, then we might have to play some pump games or some wheel games. But as of now, it seems like everything's gonna be all right. So let's get to it. We're gonna have Matt over here. He's gonna be doing some welding because I'm gonna need some aluminum piping for my intercooler, for my reservoir or for my radiator. And then I'm also going to need some help with my cross member mount because on the trans mount, it's a little off and we're going to have to remake this thing. It's not going to be that bad, but it'll be a fun time. So now that it's all buttoned up, we're going to start with the cooling system so we can get the whole front end back together and we can get some lights and blinkers going. So, you know, I want to get this thing back on the road. But anyway, this right here is K suspension. 3-fan radiator shroud, and this is obviously the Novak LS conversion radiator. So I got that all fitted up on there, and we're gonna now start wiring it. Look how nicely that fits in there. Looks like it belongs. Now I got my brother to weld up some pieces for me to help me out. Got this beauty right here, which is gonna come right here. And that's gonna go into my top water neck. I got a 90, and then I have a hose for the bottom for a flexible hose from there to there. So it's really all I gotta do to finish up my cooling system. I gotta put some hose clamps on, and this thing will be ready for some coolant. These pieces that Matt welded up, or this piece that Matt welded up, fits absolutely perfectly in here. Thanks, Matt. And as you can see, the silicone boots work great. If you notice this is now my steam port vent right here, and it goes nicely, thankfully, to the Novak rat. It goes right into one of these ports. Sorry, I'm in the middle of wiring my fans, but everything fits nicely. And guess what? We got the front grill back on. This radiator fits perfectly in here. A little tighter than before, but I have no problems with it at all. Fit great in the factory location. You can see under here now, Matt got started doing the exhaust. We started with the passenger side since that's the easiest, and I think we figured out that we're gonna start looping around the front of the oil pan for the driver's side, because we can be out of the way of the drive shaft then. You guys also probably noticed that I changed valve covers. The previous eBay special valve covers that I had were garbage. I couldn't get them to sit right no matter how much I tried, and they kept leaking oil out of the back of them, or the top of them, or the front side. I just gave up, and I got some nice ones from Holly. I like these better. I don't have to have a coil pack bracket. The coil packs just sit right on here, and guess what? They don't leak at all. It actually fits nicely, perfectly on there, and I can use nice Velcro gaskets instead of some weird junky gaskets that came with the eBay specials. So with the exhaust system, since there really is no, V8 Cherokee exhaust system you can buy, we bought a bunch of bends and stuff. It's like a DIY exhaust kit you can buy on eBay. I bought a 3-inch and a 2 1/4. The 2 1/4 is for off of the headers, and then the 3-inch is for when it collects, it goes into 3-inch. And then after that, it's gonna go all the way through the back. So this right here, I think I've tried to find out, is gonna be the quietest exhaust. It is a Quiet Flow by Walker. And up top here, we'll get to that later, but that's an exhaust cutout, because when I heard it first sound up, I love the rowdiness. So, on the trails and stuff, I can be rowdy, but around town, I can be quiet as a church mouse, or hopefully quiet, I don't know. With no resonators or cats, no matter what muffler I'm gonna put on there, it's gonna be a little loud.
So we got ourselves a little crossover collector, whatever you want to call it, from the two headers. It's a little funky, but there's not much room in there, especially when you put a big junky V8 in. Should have stuck with the 4.0, but it doesn't matter. So you can see the flanges are the opposite, and we decided to go in front of the oil pan like a TJ factory. With the drive shafts and everything, there's not enough room to sneak the other way. So here it is. It's all tacked up. We're gonna weld it. Hopefully it doesn't warp too much and it can go back in.
Look at this beautiful thing. All welded up and cooling down now.
Matt's cooling down right now.
Matt's cooling down with a beer, so am I. And then we're gonna get this thing bolted up. But I think this video is long enough, and I'm sorry guys, I wanted to get it ready to take around the block, but guess what? There's a secret. I couldn't wait to take it around the block, and a few weeks ago, as soon as I got the clutch line put in, I took it around the block, and that's where I learned that the valve cover's leak and everything. So for your viewing pleasure right now, I'm gonna show you those 2 clips my friend took off their phone, and we're gonna end this video. So tune in next time, and I promise guys, this thing is getting back on the road, and we're gonna drive around the block.
And it's rowdy.